Welcome back. How you vote by mail depends on where you live. 9 states and Washington, D.C. automatically send ballots to voters. Voters in another 10 states automatically get an application for an absentee ballot sent to them. And in half the states, 25, people are allowed to vote by mail without an excuse or with the coronavirus as their excuse. And 6 states, mostly in the South, require an excuse to vote absentee. By the way, 20 states have changed their rules due to the pandemic this calendar year. And joining me now are 3 state officials whose job it will be to oversee the voting in their respective states. Republican Secretary of State Frank LaRose of Ohio, Democratic Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson of Michigan, and State Board of Elections Director Karen Brinson-Bell of North Carolina. Welcome all of you to Meet the Press. And Karen Brinson-Bell, I'm going to start with you. North Carolina, Friday, absentee ballots went out. How would you say where is your level of concern when it comes to preparedness for this election season?
We have been optimistic the entire time. This is not the first time that North Carolina has been 60 days out in delivering absentee by mail ballots. That's par for the course in our state. It's just that we're trying to get out more than we typically would. But we were fortunate to have our primary as part of Super Tuesday. So we were ahead of the pandemic. We have had a small election in June that helped us to prepare. And I'm so proud of the 100 county election directors and boards for the preparations and steps that they've been taking.
Frank LaRose, unlike Karen mentioned that North Carolina was on Super Tuesday, so avoided have a COVID postponement. You guys did postpone, so you basically had to run the traps a couple of times. How important was that experience for you going into November?
You know, Ohio had a primary set for March 17th. The governor made the decision that it wouldn't be safe to go forward with in-person voting, so our state legislature chose to conclude the election as an all-postal primary. Of course, we carried that out in this office. Some of the lessons that we learned from that, though, is that our boards of elections are incredibly well-positioned to handle high volumes of absentee voting.
What concern right now do you have about November as far as Ohio's preparations are concerned?
Chuck, the thing that we're thinking about more than anything right now is poll worker recruitment. It takes 35,000 Ohioans to run in-person election day, and so we're doing all we can to recruit those poll workers. And next, we're making sure that we get accurate information out to Ohio's voters. It's just crucial that people have reliable information. That's why your profession is protected by the very First Amendment, and that's why one of my most important jobs is being that source of accurate and trusted information for Ohio's voters.
Jocelyn Benson, what did you learn from Michigan's experience? You ended up with a high volume of mail-in ballots, and obviously you've gone through a whole bunch of election changes since 2016 that you're going to be implementing for the first time. So give me your assessment of where you feel like Michigan is right now.
Chuck, one of the silver linings of 2020 for us has been options for voters and opportunities to clarify those options. Voters in Michigan can vote early by mail. They can return ballots through a dropbox. We've placed close to 1,000 secure dropboxes all around the state. They can vote early in person at their clerk's office, and then every precinct will be open on Election Day. We've been able to hone this plan for November through 3 successful elections that we've had already this year, where we've seen in every single one, turnout has doubled, putting us on track to have Michigan's November election be the highest turnout ever in the history of our state.
I want to go to the Postal Service issue. You were pretty concerned about it at one time. Where are you now? Have you had reassurances from the Postal Service folks that you've dealt with since this kerfuffle began?
Well, yes, I have spoken directly with the Postmaster General, and we've been in near constant communication with our postmaster leaders and postal leaders on the ground here in Michigan. We're approaching this from a 2-pronged strategy. One is to make sure the system works, that citizens can receive their ballots and return them on time. We've created drop boxes as a workaround for citizens who may not feel comfortable or wait to the last minute to return their ballots. But we're now also facing a perception issue that the changes in the Postal Service, if nothing else, have created confusion and chaos where none existed prior. And so the voter education and the confidence boosting we now have to do and will do to ensure voters feel confident that their vote, if sent through the mail, will count, is a key part of our work moving forward.
Frank LaRose, talk to me about security on your drop boxes in Ohio.
So we require that they be under 24-hour video surveillance. They are emptied every day by a bipartisan team at the county boards of elections. That's part of the security protocols. And again, Ohioans trust that whether they mail in their absentee ballot or whether they use the secure dropbox at the Board of Elections, that their voice will be heard because they can track their ballot by going to our website, voteohio.gov, just like you track a package. And I know many other states offer this as well, so you can have that confidence that the Board of Elections has received your ballot.
Karen Brinson-Bell, I'm curious, you're going to be dealing with more absentee ballots than ever before, and it is going to slow down the counting and the processing of this. Walk me through what is, how quickly can you verify mail-in ballots, and can you verify them before you count them in order to speed up the count?
I think North Carolina is uniquely positioned for this because we began sending out absentee by mail ballots on September 4th to nearly 600,000 absentee requests that we had received. We are ahead of the game in sending out those ballots. That's more time for voters to return them. We also have had in place for a number of years now the ability to process absentee by mail ballots in advance of election days. We also tabulate on election day the results from our one-stop early voting, which we think will be about 50% of the ballots cast. We'll have probably had 30-40% of the ballots cast absentee by mail. So even by the close of polls on election night, we may be reporting as much as 80% of our voter turnout and how they've chosen before at the time that the polls close.
So you may end up being a fast counting state with results quickly. And I know Ohio, I know Frank LaRose, I know you guys process early, which brings me to you, Jocelyn Benson of Michigan. You guys can't start processing until Election Day. It took a long time to get some results during your primary. Should we be prepared for Thanksgiving and the Michigan results to be coming together?
No, but we should be prepared for this to be closer to an election week as opposed to an election day. I mean, the bottom line is we are not going to have the full results and accounting of all of our ballots on election night. We already know that. We've asked the legislature to make changes to the law to give us more ability to be prepared and count those ballots more efficiently. They have not acted for reasons that I don't completely understand. But that said, we're increasing tabulators, we're increasing capacity to more efficiently and securely count those ballots. But I'm also laser focused on accuracy. And if it takes a few extra days to ensure we have a full and accurate counting of the results of every race, that's what it's going to take. And we're going to be transparent throughout that whole process to make sure every citizen knows exactly where we are in the counting process and how many more ballots we have to get through.
Are you concerned that people may take the delay in getting all the results in Michigan to declare a phony winner?
Yes, but to me, that's just going to be another example of the type of misinformation and disinformation that we're seeing in multiple ways from multiple platforms and voices in this election cycle. So we're going to counter that misinformation with truth and accuracy. These are the ballots that have been counted and reported. This is where the work is still happening, and we'll continue to keep the public updated. And again, being that source of trusted information, of clear facts and data, is going to be really important for every Secretary of State this year as we seek to cut through lots of different rhetoric that's going to only be increasing in the weeks coming up to Election Day and beyond.
Frank LaRose, Senator Marco Rubio of Florida has actually got a bill that would change the day the electors meet from December 14th to January 2nd. Essentially, it's because he says, look, states may need more time. They may need more time to certify and don't, it's an artificial date, the December 14th, it's not in the you can shift that around. Would you like more time?
Chuck, we're certainly planning on having our Electoral College meet on December 14th. We're preparing for that. Of course, we count the ballots on election night. We always report that as unofficial tabulation. We know that over the next 10 days, as long as those ballots were legally cast, they can continue to be received at our Board of Elections. That's our law here in Ohio. And so we're making it clear that the numbers that you hear on election night are never the final result. And that's going to be even more so the case this year as we rely on more and more absentee balloting. We're even changing the way that our election night reporting is done on our website to make it clear that there still may be tens or hundreds of thousands of outstanding absentee ballots. We expect those to come back in, whether it's one of my former military teammates who's serving overseas or maybe an Ohioan that just procrastinated and waited to the last minute. As long as those ballots are legally cast, they deserve to be counted. And so, again, election night, yeah, we'll give a snapshot of those results, but the final tabulation is what really matters.
Jocelyn Benson of Michigan, I think we learned from you that it's election week at a minimum in Michigan. Frank LaRose there of Ohio. Obviously, poll workers, a priority you wanted to make sure we brought up. And Karen Brinson Bell, feeling as prepared as you can be. I appreciate all of you. Good luck. We're all counting on all three of you doing an outstanding job. This is one case where, regardless of party, everybody wants all three of you to succeed. So thank you.
Thank you.